Facebook is currently down, but that doesn't mean that we should go easy on them because they are currently facing a whole bundle of different scandals. We've talked about a few in recent weeks. The internal studies showing that they understand the mental health impact, the negative mental health impact that they have on especially young girls using their services, the ways that they've helped boost sources of misinformation, provided some high-profile right-wingers with protection from their own terms of service being invoked against them. But there's a new big one too, and it's coming from a whistleblower. This is whistleblower Frances Haugen, who has revealed how they not only helped provide a platform on Facebook for the insurrectionists to plan January 6th, but also effectively disarmed after they felt they had done enough right before the insurrection. So in addition to some other things, we're gonna go through that right now. Now, Frances Haugen had been a product manager who'd worked at Facebook since 2019, recently provided leaked internal Facebook documents and reports to the Wall Street Journal and Congress in recent weeks after resigning back in April. Before departing the company in May, Haugen sifted through Facebook's internal systems, reviewing thousands of documents looking at how the company operated. That was back when they actually operated. But anyway, so here is what Frances found and is describing in interviews this week. During the 2020 election, Facebook executives, believing they had done their duty, promptly disbanded their civic integrity team at the beginning of December as part of a broader reshuffle within the company. A month later, insurrectionists stormed the Capitol. They'd planned the incident, at least in part, on Facebook. She says there were conflicts of interest between what was good for the public and what was good for Facebook. And Facebook over and over chose to optimize for its own interests, like making more money. Now bear in mind, this is a company that brings in countless billions of dollars every single year, but they couldn't bear to have this civic integrity unit operating for a day longer than they felt necessary. And just in case you've forgotten, I want to remind you that December of last year was not like a really cool time from democracy's point of view. There were, dozens of simultaneous court cases challenging the legitimacy of the election. Lynn Wood was doing press conferences every day. Rudy Giuliani was farting on other people who worked for Donald Trump. They were very much still in a full court press to stop the election from going forward. And that is the context under which Facebook decided that their civic integrity unit did not need to function. And that meant that this territory, which was already fertile for things like insurrectionist planning, would allow for a more free flow of misinformation and radicalization of people on it. I want to give you a brief description of how that actually works. And you need to understand going into this that Facebook has always said that if people get radicalized on its products, that is on them. They went looking for this material, and it's not on Facebook to stop them from finding things that are out there, but that is not actually how it works. So Frances Haugen says, so they've taken brand new accounts, so no friends, and all they've done is they follow Donald Trump, Melania Trump, Fox News, and a local news source. And then all they did is click on the first 10 things that Facebook showed them. Where Facebook suggested a group, they join that group. So they're not doing any conscious action here. Just one time go in, and within a week you see QAnon, within 2 weeks you see white genocide. And so this is not searching, there's no searching. They only accept the things that Facebook presents to them, and it is clear that Facebook is presenting QAnon, conspiracy theories, white supremacy, and white genocide. And why? It's fairly obvious. This is the stuff that people click on and comment on and spend more time looking at Facebook for, which means they're exposed to more ads. They're doing it for the same reason that every 2-bit grifter does. It's just to make more money, damn the costs. Okay. And so there's more, but what do you think?
Yeah, I've got again, a slightly different opinion. And so there's tons of nuance in here. So first though, let me be upfront and do what no one else in the media does. I am biased here. And the reason I'm biased is because Facebook is one of our top partners. And by the way, to be fair to Facebook, and you'll see this video on Facebook once they're back up.
Okay, if they presumably,
right? But a lot of you will literally be viewing this video on Facebook. So here's a critique of Facebook that they are putting onto their own platform. So credit where credit is due on that, okay? So now to the main arguments here. All they want to do is make money. Welcome to America. So this is the part that bothers me and now this is a very ironic defense, is when people are outraged that corporations just want to make money. that's their nature. That's literally in their bylaws. That's their fiduciary responsibility. That's how we wrote the laws. Now, I say it's an ironic difference because I argue that we should change the laws. And so, what are today B Corps? Maybe that should be the way to go. We should be really careful about the stock market because when you have a corporation that goes public, it basically institutionalizes greed and must return 15% at a minimum every single year. There are systemic fixes that we can do to that. But when we pick one company at a time and go, can you believe they're trying to make money and that's all they care about? My answer is yes, I can definitely believe it. That is what almost all of them do. Okay, some private companies, not necessarily, they have more leeway. Okay, public companies have almost no leeway. So number two, their defense is not completely wrong where they say, well, this is what you guys want. And it's true. So here, let's explain a couple of reasons as to why it's true. So number one, you ever been to a spring break where two guys are agreeing and the whole crowd gathers, goes, watch these guys agree, man. No, I haven't either, right? But have you ever been at a spring break when somebody says, watch these two guys fight, and the whole crowd turns and watches the fight? Yeah,
but they all agree that he should fight, so.
But you see the phenomenon I'm talking about. As soon as there's a fight, and I picked spring break because we recently did a video about that in Miami. And so the minute there's even a slight fight, everybody looks. It's human nature, guys. It's human nature. So what these comments sections are doing are, in a sense, starting fights. Right? Since it's highly engaging material, one side goes, no, there is no racism, and the other side says, yes, there is. And all of a sudden we got to fight and everybody's looking, okay? And so they're trying to drive engagement so that you can stay on Facebook longer so they can make more money. None of that is false, that is correct, okay? Now, we say, bad boy, don't do that. Well, the question is how? How do we stop them?
I would say having one side who says there is racism and another side says there's none. Maybe this doesn't substantively change your point, but that is not the bounds of what we're talking about. We're talking about content designed to convince people that their government is instituting a genocide against them, effectively.
But now let's go to
that conspiracy theorizing.
No, but
and allowing them to organize based on this, convincing them that vaccines don't work or the vaccines are actually killing them.
No, but John, look. So there, in a sense, I disagree even more. So why? Okay, you said, and I don't think you meant it this way, but I want to make sure that the audience understands that Facebook presents that to them. They don't. There is no person at Facebook that says, no, now serve them white genocide.
No, I'm saying that they are explicitly being served up. They are not searching out this material in the experiments that the whistleblower is describing.
Yes, the algorithm.
It is suggested to them.
The algorithm is suggesting it to them.
That's the presenting that I'm talking about.
I got you. But why is the algorithm suggesting it to them? It's not because Facebook wants to push QAnon or white genocide. My guess is that they're against that, right? And so the reason it does is because it is highly engaging content. Because people, when they hear about it, go yes or no, and then they fight, okay? So by the way, again, another ironic defense. We're talking about white genocide. Fox News talks about it all the time on air. That used to be an insane conspiracy theory that the government was looking to do genocide on white people by replacing them, by the way, originally with Jews. That was the German version of that. Now also in Charlottesville, right? But now more often with immigrants and dirty immigrants, etc. But Tucker Carlson does that every night on Fox News.
That's true. He's caught up to the message boards.
So are we telling Facebook that they should ban Fox News material because it is avowedly racist? I don't know, that's a good question, whether they should do that or not. But it is definitely a so-called legitimate, so-called news operation that is pushing that racism, no question. So if you want Facebook to stop it, then you got to tell them, or they got to make the decision and be comfortable with it, which is a tough decision on banning Fox News.
Yeah, they're presumably legitimate in that they have more money than OAN. I'm not sure about much more than that. But, and also Francis, the whistleblower, as far as I'm seeing, is not calling for it to be banned. They're saying you need to understand that publicly Facebook is saying this is on you, it takes two to tango, you need to be more responsible, when they are in fact proactively suggesting this material. And so that none of that is prescriptive about what should actually be done or whether anything should be done to change it, but you need to understand whether a corporation is fundamentally lying to you.
But again, when you say presenting, they are the only reason why the algorithm suggests it is because of how popular it is and how engaging it is. So if white genocide had no comments and it was like something terrible, like, hey, there's a new meme out that says quadruple homicide is awesome. Well, that would not be quote unquote suggested by Facebook's algorithm because nobody's in favor of that. And nobody's engaging that. I know I'm worried now that it's become, right, hold on. But I'm worried that of putting anything into the world because then it starts a fight. And next thing you know, it's super engaging, and next thing you know, it's promoted by everyone. So guys, they're looking to make money. They're not going there and be like, oh, if we push the satanic cult, etc. Now, at the same time, is Zuckerberg super friendly with the right wing? Yes, he has Ben Shapiro and other right wingers over for dinner on a regular basis. So I don't know that he's had a single progressive over for dinner, a single one. So again,
we had one lunch, me and him.
Oh, you did? Okay, good for
breakfast burritos. I just was feeling breakfast burritos at that point.
So, but honestly, it's partly because Facebook leans Republican. Their entire board is Republican. Their fact checkers are Republican. I mean, almost everybody in the organization, with the exception of Sheryl Sandberg, as far as I can tell, and certainly on economic issues, are Republican to deeply Republican. So I'm not defending them on any of that. So I don't see a lot of parity in how they treat folks, right? And so if you wanted to press on that more, I think that makes sense. By the way, a lot of times when they go to fix these problems, what they'll do is, okay, we're now wiping out everything that touches the issue of race. So you can't be in favor of racism, but you also can't be opposed to racism. If you do videos saying, hey, cops shouldn't beat up on black people, we'll just delete the video. Or we won't allow you to put them on. Wait, that's not fair. Doesn't it make sense to put something good and positive in the world to try to create positive change?
Yeah, I agree.
No,
they're bad.
Nope. As long as you guys tell us to stay out of politics, we're gonna punish the racist and the non-racist equally. That is far more likely to happen, especially given their Republican proclivities, right? So watch out what you wish for, you just might get it.
I'm not wishing for that. I don't like the status quo or their BS fixes in the past. But I do think people need to understand that we used to have a world where if the KKK or white supremacists wanted to radicalize you, I don't know, I guess they left a flyer like posted in a gun store and you had to go to a meeting in the woods or something. Now your grandma logs onto Facebook and right alongside, the New York Times, she's getting stuff from, whiteeagle.com, and she sees it as equally reputable. And groups, insurrectionist groups, it used to be that like terrorist groups and things like that, it was difficult to radicalize people. Now they're on the biggest platform in the world. And again, I'm not saying I know specifically what needs to be done, if anything, but that seems like a pretty bad status quo.
So, and now let me talk about why this news story and the revelations are good news, okay? Number one, anytime you find out the truth, it's good news, okay? It's better to know than not know, okay? So then we can have an interesting dialogue as we're doing right here as to what to do about it, but at least you know what the problem is and the context of the problem, okay? Number two, all they've ever gotten at Facebook, and this might be a bigger reason why they almost always lean right wing, is pressure from Republicans.
Yep.
Ted Cruz and all the others, Trump yelling at them 24/7. And Democrats are usually, the politicians are generally speaking cowards. So they're like, oh, please give us a donation. But we're fine with you, we're totally fine, right? That's generally how Democrats react. So they think, oh, we can push progressives around, we can push Democrats around, we can ignore the left wing and it's gonna have no consequences. So now this at least shines a spotlight onto how right wing, like the worst, most extreme part of the right wing has taken root at Facebook. And it might create pressure on them to go, hey, maybe that's not a good thing. Maybe we could work on fixing our algorithm so that it doesn't promote hatred in any direction, right? And be really, really thoughtful about it. Because until you create pressure to fix it, they won't. Because they're just going to continue to try to do the thing that makes them the most money. And the third thing that I think is positive about this is that it brings attention to the fact that things that you see on Facebook or anywhere online are not necessarily true, okay? And this apparently is a really hard concept for people. And so we need to repeat that 1,000 times. And it's, again, deeply ironic here because we're online And we're telling you, be careful about things you see online. With us, you can always verify. You could Google it, you could search, do an independent search on your own. We often put the links in the description box so you can check and verify on your own, and we encourage you to do that, okay? And I wish other outlets would do that, but of course they don't, because if you checked what Breitbart wrote, you'd realize, oh my God, almost none of it is true, right? And you'd be like, well, that's weird. Why am I subscribed to a thing that lies to me 24/7? Oh, it's because they want the rich to get even more money. Well, I'm not in favor of that. Okay, so my point is, unfortunately, a gigantic percentage of people, if they see anything on Facebook or something like Facebook, they'll just automatically believe it.
Yep.
Don't do that. They have no compunction about, I don't mean Facebook, I mean the individual sites on Facebook that are pushing that to you. There are no rules against them lying. There's no laws against it. They can put up almost anything they want. So for God's sake, think twice when you see something online. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.